Hello and welcome to Virtuosity. I'm Corey, co-founder of Virtuosity, and I'll be leading you through this introduction to temperance. Imagine you're driving home after a long day. You're tired, hungry, and a little fried from everything that's come at you. The traffic is crawling. You're finally nearing your exit when, out of nowhere, a car swerves into your lane. No signal, no space, you slam the brakes. Before you can think, your mouth moves faster than your mind. You yell or hit the horn a little too hard, maybe both. And then you remember you're not alone. Your kid's in the back seat, your friend's in the passenger seat, your partner gives you that quiet side glance. That's the moment, when something small on the outside creates something big on the inside. It's fast, it's automatic, it feels justified, but it leaves a trace. Tension in your body, a flicker of regret, a sense that you weren't fully in control. We've all been there, and yet, right in the middle of that tension, there's a choice. As Viktor Frankl once wrote, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space, the one between what happens to us and how we respond, is everything. And temperance is what helps us live in that space. It lets us pause, hold steady, and choose a response that reflects who we want to be. And like any strength, it can be trained. Benjamin Franklin believed that. He placed temperance first on his list of 13 personal virtues, not because it was the most exciting, but because he saw it as foundational. His motto, eat not to dullness, drink not to elevation. But what he really meant went beyond food or alcohol. Franklin understood that moderation in emotion, desire, response, and indulgence was the foundation for all other virtues. If you couldn't stay composed, how could you be just? If you couldn't exercise restraint, how could you be courageous without becoming reckless? Each day, he would review his behavior against all 13 virtues, marking where he fell short. He treated self-regulation not as a trait, but as a trainable virtue. Let's break down what we mean by temperance. It's not about holding everything in or pretending you don't feel anything. Temperance is about staying steady when things get tense. It's having the self-regulation to pause, breathe, and respond, not react. It's staying grounded in a storm and composed when stakes are high. People with temperance don't lose their cool easily, but they're not detached or distant either. They're present, thoughtful, and in control of their behavior, even when emotions are running high. They know how to hold space between stimulus and response, and in that space, they choose intention over impulse. Temperance is also about restraint, not rushing into action, not overreacting, not overindulging. It's working through challenges in a calm, careful way, and it's knowing that sometimes the strongest move is to wait. According to the Leader Character Framework, temperance is made up of 5 core behaviors: being calm, staying steady in pressure-filled moments; being composed, regulating emotions to stay clear and collected; being patient, tolerating delay or discomfort without frustration; being prudent, thinking things through before jumping in; and being self-controlled, resisting impulses in favor of intentional action. Let's bring temperance to life. Imagine a Formula 1 car, blazing through tight corners at 200 kilometers per hour. Speed matters, but it's only sustainable with control, and control depends on brakes. The better the braking system, the faster you can go. Safely, precisely, consistently. Temperance is your braking system. If the brakes are too weak, if you wait too long or don't engage them, you fly off the track. You crash. That's temperance and deficiency. Reactivity, volatility, emotional outbursts. In real life, that might look like snapping under pressure, lashing out in a meeting, or saying something you immediately regret. It erodes trust, both from others and in yourself. And sometimes, strengthening temperance requires support from other dimensions. It takes humanity, care for others to stay calm. It takes humility to notice when you're agitated and course correct. It takes transcendence, a long view, to cultivate patience. It takes accountability to be prudent and think before acting. And it takes integrity to stay grounded in your values and resist impulse. But swing too far in the other direction, and the brakes are always on. You overuse them. Cautious at every turn, you lose momentum. You get past. That's temperance in excess. Overcaution, hesitation, avoidance. In real life, it's stalling when boldness is needed, holding back when it's time to speak up, letting fear of disruption stop you from taking meaningful risks. This often happens when temperance isn't supported by other strengths, like the courage to act, drive to move forward, integrity to live your values, or accountability to deliver results. Temperance, like a Formula One braking system, is what makes speed sustainable. It gives you control in chaos, precision under pressure, and the ability to navigate sharp turns without losing your line. But when it's out of balance, everything suffers. Too little temperance and you crash, taking trust and relationships with you. Too much and you stall, missing momentum and the moments that matter. It's about having control, knowing the brakes are there, finely tuned, ready when you need them. So now, take a moment to turn inward. What does it feel like when you're living the virtues of temperance? When you're calm, composed, patient, prudent, and self-controlled, how do you show up? How do others experience you? And how do you experience yourself? Of course, we all lose that balance from time to time. When you do, which direction do you tend to lean? Toward deficiency, agitated, impatient, rash, or toward excess, detached, overly cautious, indifferent? When that happens, what does it actually look like in your behavior? What's the ripple effect on others? And what's the impact on you? Are there certain roles, situations, or stressors that tend to throw you off balance, nudging you to one extreme or the other? Can you spot the pattern? Temperance is one of my weaker dimensions, and I know I'm not alone. Across our research, one pattern keeps showing up. Temperance is often the lowest scoring dimension, regardless of age, culture, or industry. If this isn't you, consider yourself a unicorn. Which is why when I miss the mark, it's almost always on the deficiency side. I notice it most when I feel pressure around time. It doesn't have to be real pressure. Sometimes it's the internal expectation that things should be moving faster than they are. That's when the agitation creeps in. I get impatient. My pace quickens, my tone tightens, and I start rushing conversations without even realizing it. It's subtle, but contagious. My impatience can shift the energy in the room. Others speed up too. We lose the depth in the dialogue. And afterward, I often feel that flicker of regret, like I didn't show up with the presence or composure I'd like to have. I've been learning to work with it, not against it. One of the things that helps is building in more space, more margin between meetings, looser timelines, realistic transitions. Not as a crutch, but as a way to support the calm I want to bring. In some ways, it's a systems fix, adjusting the pace and structure of how I work so that my temperance doesn't have to fight upstream just to show up. And when I feel that tension rising, I check in with myself. Where is this urgency coming from? What's the story I'm telling myself about time? I also rely on other dimensions to support my temperance. Humility helps me notice when I'm slipping, when my shortness isn't about others, but about me. Transcendence helps me reset expectations, zooming out to see the bigger picture. And humanity keeps me grounded in care, remembering the impact my energy has on those around me. But sometimes I tip in the other direction. I hold back too much, I let something slide when I should speak up. I stay quiet to keep the peace, over-regulating, but end up feeling disconnected. That's temperance in excess. It's not calm, it's withdrawal. And when that happens, I need to call on my integrity to remind myself what I stand for, and courage to act on it. The key is paying attention to how you react when you're under pressure, to the habits that throw you off balance, and the ones that bring you back, to the energy you carry into the room and the ripple it leaves behind. The more attuned we become to where we are on that spectrum, the more able we are to strengthen what's needed. And with that comes greater choice. And in that choice lies composure, clarity, and the capacity to lead ourselves and others with steadiness. Temperance is about staying in command of your reactions, your rhythm, your presence. But knowing that composure matters isn't enough. Awareness helps, but it doesn't hold up under pressure. For that, you need practice, habits, a system. That's what Virtuosity is built for. It's a system designed to help you train your character like a muscle, turning moments of stress into reps of strength. You start small, one temperance behavior, one clear focus. Then Virtuosity guides you through bite-sized lessons and daily challenges to help you build calm, composed strength, one rep at a time. Because temperance isn't built in stillness. It's forged in the tension, the tight corners, the long waits, the testing moments where pressure spikes and patience thins. And just like a Formula One car needs brakes to go fast, you need temperance to lead well. Without it, you overheat, overreact, lose trust. But when it's strong, balanced, reliable, you stay grounded and move with clarity. That's why we train. Because when the stress rises and the impulse kicks in, it won't be your intentions that hold you up, it'll be your habits. So train your character, build your calm, and choose your response.